Very good evening. Welcome back to my channel. This is Royal Bangalore Food and your host. This is Paul. Today we're going to talk about very quickly the second episode of how to kickstart your businesses. Specifically, I'm kicking start an e-commerce brand. So today we're going to talk about the integration of how important it is to create your registration process. Now, the previous episode, I leave it in the I button. You can go ahead and watch it. And my only request to you is that go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. I'll appreciate it. That keeps me going to get this content above. And I'm not a fancy guy. I just sit and talk. And furthermore, questions that you have related to anything that you want to launch, specifically in the food segment. So Royal Bangalore Food is all about creative thoughts, new business ideas, launching products specifically in food and ready to eat convenience food. And if you still made it till the deep end, I'll really appreciate it at that time. And if you have further questions, as I said, you can always leave it in the comments below, or my email ID is rbsnllc@gmail.com. Without wasting further ado, let's dive in. Hey, so today we're going to look at it in terms of how important it is to understand the company registration policy, specifically when you're launching any food related businesses in Bangalore. Since it's called Royal Bangalore, I'm based out of Bangalore. Quickly on a short note, one of my experiences is that I had previously run industrial catering. I was also into food and brewery, microbrewery consultant, and in terms of scaling up corporate events, corporate sales, social media marketing, influencer marketing, and so on and so forth. And also I have my own YouTube channel. That's how I'm conversing about this. So to kickstart in the current scenario in the 2023, there are a few important processes that you have to understand. Disclaimer, I really don't like CS, the chartered accountant, because now everything is gone and online. It's just that that's the only reason that I'm also talking to you in terms of in this medium of YouTube to promote how easy it has become to go ahead and launch a product, or to go ahead and register and get it sorted. Last 3 startups that I had, I always registered online, and it's been a more easy process to understand. So that is the experience I really want to share and keep you going in terms of how not to think about it, to go ahead. Yes, if you're doing a private limited, you need a CA and you need a company secretary, provided you do certain value of businesses. But CA is mandate, because whenever you're doing an AGM or an annual general meeting, it's important that you appoint a CA as a board, and then you do your accounting, taxations, and your company works in terms of filing, data, GST, many other things. But everything can be done online. How do we do this? One single step. I have 2 important companies here which I like to mention. One is called Vakil Search, which predominantly I use their services. Absolutely as clear as water. It's just that since they are a technological firm, since it's online, everything gets done over the phone call or an email. Everything was on scanned copies, whatever. In case if you want to add to any point, your CAs will you can dial in and get connected, provided it is free to listen to you. Otherwise, you have to just raise a ticket online and then you get your queries resolved. Now, that is a very simple process. We're going to look at it, the easy steps to understand, how do you go ahead and kickstart your anything related to private limited. There are 5 different registration process. Obviously, if you want to raise capital, you want to go on certain shows. Even if you want to raise any schemes or grants from the bank or NBFC, so-called the non-banking financial centers, or your Karnataka State Finance, or it could be any Yojana schemes, like how SBI is running it. It could be an incubation space. If you have to do it, that's the only way to go ahead and register as a private limited. Okay, it's very simple. You have to identify the unique name for registration process. You can register in MCA, which is Ministry of Corporate Affairs website. You can go feed in your information. Just make sure that you do a brainstorm of at least 10 companies, different name. For example, Swiggy is called Bundle Technologies. So similarly with Zomato, there are different company names that you have to evolve and file. So have 10 names that you have thought through. Do a brainstorm. Use ChatGPT to help you with it. It'll come up with some fantastic names. You can go on your own, register an MCA and search for those particular name which is available, and then you can call Vakil Search or legal filings, or there are so many law firms, the online to registration process, companies and firms, the startups, they will help you to go ahead and register. It's very clear that you need to have your Aadhaar card, your PAN card, your bank statements, and in case if you have like me, unlike me, I already have the digital signature certificate like in USB, and also have a director identification number, the DIN, what we call it as. So that will help you to go ahead and ease out your process. And if you're a first time registration, as long as you have these documentations, and then the second process that you have to identify a space. These days you have I would say 3 or 4 different spaces. One is your virtual space. If you're launching as an e-commerce brand like me, you can make utilizing. It's on the expensive side if you talk to all the WeWorks or so-called the co-working sites. Now currently they have a yearly plan which I've spoken about, close to somewhere between 20 to 25,000 rupees per year. So that will not work out. That's a virtual space. Still you can go ahead and register, get your GST registered, and then if you're related to food, you can also register your FSSI based on that. But again, having said that, it's very clear. Everything is online. I mean, at current juncture, it's better you go ahead and research, get your everything is sorted out in terms of your name, your brand name, your domain name is also online. So everything seems to be online and more easier currently to go ahead and start your business. Now coming back to the documentation process, apart from your Aadhaar card, your PAN card, bank statement, you just need to have a rental agreement. The rental agreement, the owner should also have a similar name on his electricity bill. That will involve you to go ahead and get your GST sorted. So once you get your registration process done, which includes your SIN, let's start with MOA, which is nothing but your Memorandum of Understanding, your Articles of Association AOA, and then you're supposed to have your SIN, Certificate of Incorporation certificate, and if you need to also get your GST, and then you need to get your DSC and your DIN certificate. It's all come in a bundle. Then you can go ahead. The second process, once you're all through with this, then you can apply again. gst.gov.in is your website to go ahead and get your free certificate for GST. You have to go ahead and register. There is a mandate. There is no two ways about it, because once you have a GST in place, you can actually evolve your businesses, whatever you plan to do. In this case, I'm going to talk about the e-commerce brand, right? So the next thing is that since it's related to the food, you have to have 3 more licenses. One is provided if you're not doing a firewood cooking, you still need to get a certificate from the Pollution Control Board, or so-called the Bangalore PCB. And then the second thing is that you need to get a Shop and Establishment Act, because you're well within the Bangalore. Then you need to get it from BBMP. Every ward of Bangalore will have a BBMP locations. You can just walk in, fill the form again in the online in the BBMP website, register your informations about your area that you do, what business that you incur. It's a great nominal fee, depends on what business you're into. The fee starts from 5,000, it goes up till 15 or 10, 20,000 as well. Depends what you want to do. That can be leveraged on online. Get those informations online, do a research, get a Shop and Establishment Act. And the third thing is your FSSA license. If you're into food, right? So we're only talking about food. So your FSSA, your food grade licenses, is all about if you're doing a product sales on e-commerce, then it will be it starts from 2,000 rupees. And it's ideally again better that you go online, but online process takes time, because if you're doing quickly like me, if you're registering on the brand aspects to get your FSSI on your products, it's better that you go ahead and consult a food inspector, get it sorted, what is required in terms of state licenses or a central license is concerned. Be very specific. In this case, I'm a co-packer, right? So entire ball game changes. If you're a co-packer selling within the peripheral of the Bangalore districts, it's always better you get a state license and get going with it. Now that's about FSSI. In terms of private limited is concerned, a quick short note to understand, why not the other setups like OPC, what we call it as one person company, sole proprietorship, LLC, in this case limited liability partnership. Initially it's called the partnership, now it's called limited liability partnership, still with 2 directors. Obviously then you have the private limited as well. So there are 4 setups. Apart from that, you can register as a trust. You can also register as a medical fraternity, giving free services as a NGOs. So these are the other forms of businesses that you can go and register. But predominantly, if you're looking at to build a brand, which I am talking about it, and if you really want to visualize in terms of going to Shark Tank, doing some funding with VC or angel listing, so on and so forth, it's mandatorily everybody will precisely ask for private limited. So make sure that you have a co-founder. A co-founder comes with various skills and traits. you work on certain segments of operations, technology, or production, or making sure that kitchen aspects. Somebody else can concentrate on sales, probably in terms of go-to-market strategy, in terms of marketing is concerned. So you should have your two directors on board. Only then you can go ahead. Equally, any investment can kickstart. On the authorized capital, on the paid up capital, is the amount that you need to go check with your bank. So you have to have a current account. Once you in with your GST, with all your documents, you can approach a bank. Currently, 6 months you get zero balance account to run a current account. That's a great initiative for a lot of banks. I would personally, my previous startups all with HDFC, one with the SBI Bank. Looking forward, depends on the bank that you work with, as long as everybody has online segments. In this case, since it's going to be e-commerce product sales, you're going to have every invoices to and fro from the customer's point of view. It's always better you go and talk to your current account branch manager from the bank, and he would explain in terms of the benefits and features, in terms of how the money is coming in from your payment gateway and so on and so forth. We're not talking about in terms of how to go ahead and launch. Once you set this out, I will also talk about in the next episode about what are the other key important structures required. Now, another disclaimer which I would like to say is that many online, I've been researching helter skelter in YouTube and Instagram. Everybody says with zero investment you can go and kickstart. Nothing comes free, my dear ladies and gentlemen. This is my perspective, my opinion. Let's be honest. If you first of all you have to register, and register takes costing. So with that in mind, let me reveal the costing of the whole process. The reason why I hate CA, I remember telling you initially, was actually speaking because the CA also does the same. Either they'll have an online player, or either they'll have the staff running onto the e-commerce, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs office in Bangalore. They would stand in a queue, pay some bills as well as their service charges, all put together not less than 15,000 to 30,000 rupees. I had spent 30,000 rupees for 4 directors. It was 4 directors, but I still had my DSC Indian, which costs more, but rest all 30,000 was not relevant. Similarly, any CA, as I said, it's mandatory that you have to go and appoint if you're doing a private limited. Otherwise also you need to have a CA on board in terms of registration, in terms of compliance is concerned, right? Your IT, your tax, your AGMs, your meetings, your schedules, your minutes of meetings, any updates on the MCA side, keeping your DIN and DSC active every 6 months, doing your KYC, what we call it as know your customer. I don't know why you need to do KYC. It's very clear. It's up to the government, making sure that director is existing, is alive, kicking, is working. That's what you have to do it. As I mentioned earlier, it's all about online. So if you're still facing difficulty to understanding this medium of context in terms of video, as I said, you can always write in my comment section, and you can also email me. I'll be more than glad to help you out. In terms of coming back to the business consultant, in terms of e-commerce is concerned, if you still require further help in terms of strategy, in terms of any pain points, any gaps, G.A.P.S, okay, go to market strategy, GTM, what we call it as, identifying a target audience market, or TAM, what we call it as, in terms of product market fit, in terms of MVP, market viably, viable in terms of market audience is concerned. Who are your customers? Is it going to be online players or offline players? We'll all look at it in terms of piece by piece, video by video to move on. So here am I just disclose in terms of how easy in a way, and also how cumbersome in terms of if you're not having the right documentations. So please go get your documents approved in terms of having the same mobile number, the same address, the location that you're trying to rent it out. Make sure that everything is spick and span. You talk to the tenant or the owner that you're working with in terms of if you're having a physical space that you want to rent it out and to register there. So making sure that you do that. If you have further questions, why can't I register from my home? Just to quickly answer, if that owner allows you to go ahead and register, so be it. Otherwise, the owner gets penalized in terms of commercial usage of water and also electricity bill. That will come under commercial angle, because all this while he had a residential point of view. Since you register the firm or the place, the physical space under his registrations, it will eventually become a commercial angle. So there you go. That's about it. And quickly to understand, the private limited, the time frame would typically would start from 1 week, maximum of 2 weeks, I would say. So because you never know. Most of the time your MCA websites are down when you upload and inload. So that's the reason it's that is that teething space that you require. It's always you rely on this particular agency, be it online or be it your offline CA. So with that in mind, I appreciate. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. As I mentioned earlier, if you made it to this deep end, why don't you go hit that bell notification and like and subscribe? It keeps me going. It's raw footage. It's just that no two ways about it. I am great because I'm kicking start. I'm just sharing my experiences. What are the processes? What are the hurdles that you had? How do you tumble over? How do you steeplechase? How do you jump over that particular hurdle? It's going to be very smooth sailing because current scenario that you have to kickstart, be an entrepreneur level. If you're doing a job, my only tip: if you're doing a job, do not start your businesses because concentrating on your job and then doing this is absolutely horrific. You cannot concentrate because the entire management of handling your baby is like a baby. You have to take care from the time it conceives, like from the ideation stage. The moment you get to know your wife is conceived, from the day that your idea struck your brain, and you have to work around. At current juncture, the faster you run, the faster you reach your goals. Not necessarily that you have to make money, but ideas that you're trying to solve a problem. So food is one aspect. I mean, the last tagline I want to leave you, because today the whole market is absolutely flabbergasted with bad food, unhygienic. I mean, the glory to God, the amount of butter usage, there's no recipe management engineering. So with that in mind, if you still want to watch a lot of my videos in terms of cloud kitchen, restaurants, in terms of catering, you can also visit my other videos, live sessions. I do small shorts as well in YouTube and Instagram as well. So that keeps you going, I guess. As I said, you're always welcome to go ahead and knock me and probably ping me. I'll be glad to answer all your questions and queries. With that in mind, thanks for sticking by. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hearing me out on a monotonous kind of a video. I appreciate it. Take care. Cheers. Bye.